Verse 35. So they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down, when she arose. So the younger that night did exactly the same thing. And again, we see Lot had no idea. Okay, he had no idea what happened. Verse 36. So yeah, in a sense, you get this idea that Moses, now writing this, is trying to show that Lot is ultimately not at fault here. Right? They did it. And Lot had no idea. But yeah, Lot was not supposed to get drunk. Right? Lot was not supposed to let them do this to him. The drinking part, that is. Or drinking that much part. Verse 36. Thus both the daughters of Lot became pregnant by their father. Okay? So both, because of this, because of their evil acts, they became pregnant. Verse 37. The firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. The younger also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ami. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day. The Moabites, the Ammonites, living around or bordering Israel later on, the land of Canaan. On their way they meet them. They're going to have lots of tussles, right? Like with the Moabites, like with the Edomites of Esau, the Moabites, the Ammonites. They're all going to create lots of problems, and there's always going to be this wars between them. They're going to be then under them, then outside them, then working together with the Syrians against them, then working together with the Assyrians, then working together with the Babylonians, and then they are destroyed by the Babylonians. We'll see this all later on in history as it's going to play out. That is later. That history comes later. This is now a little bit earlier in time, in the time when they're in the desert, when they meet these people, when they have difficulties, when the one group doesn't want to allow them to go through their land, right? These kinds of things is happening at that stage. So what Moses is trying then therefore to do is to show that, they are our family, okay? Abram had not such a good relationship with Lot. Though they are our family. This was what is happening is explainable. The same way how Canaan was cursed because of the sin of Father Ham after Noah got drunk. It's the same way that now here the Moabites and the Ammonites came into existence because of Lot getting drunk. And then their daughters, not their son, daughters doing something evil against him. Now the fact that what the daughters did was sleeping with Lot, right? And because of that, some people see this as Ham sleeping with Noah, right? To connect it, like this literal connection. The daughter sleeping with Lot. This is what we clearly see here. And then the son, Ham over there, so he had sex with his father, kind of idea. Right now, that is drawing too strict a line through this. Right? This story is not connected, like entirely exactly. This is idea of son, daughters, right? So already you see there's not a son and sons here. This is a son and daughters. So there's already a difference. So you can't connect it, therefore. It's not possible to directly connect it in such a way. It does not make sense. There's already differences in the stories. If the story is exactly the same, then exactly you would have had to have not a son, but a daughter sleeping with Noah, and the daughter giving then birth to Canaan, and then the Canaan being cursed in the same way then what happened here. But in that case, that did not happen because it was the son. It's daughters here. So there's a difference. So the same thing that connects only is the fact that siblings got the father drunk. That is the same connection after as well being saved out of calamity. And the calamities as well differ totally, because that is the destruction of the whole earth by water, and in this case, most likely the destruction of those cities by a local earthquake. Okay, like in this case now, this earthquake destroying things here, right? But it was pretty much not a local earthquake. Even a building in Bangkok came down, which is like 1,600 kilometers away, right? But so again, there's more things in here that shows that ultimately the stories are not one-to-one. Okay, so therefore, those people that draws the conclusion that Ham slept with his father and Noah, they're wrong. Right? That's not what happened there. And I already explained, you can go back and listen to that story and explanation of what I gave you there concerning what happened and what was the sin of Ham. But so in both of these cases, though, what Moses is doing by connecting it in such a way is to show, to give the origin of these people, to give an understanding of why these people expect them. We're not there yet. We are in a way that expect them to be against us because of this, right? So it explains as well their being against them, and as well it explains as well their right to the city and to achieve there what they need to achieve there. In other words, the legal right for them and the moral right. The moral right because the people are sinful, therefore they are to the judgment. The legal right because these people, the birth of these children came in an ignominious way, came in a wrong way, came in a sinful way, or in Canaan's case, they were cursed. Right. So in conclusion, what do we learn from this chapter? Okay. Well, sin will be judged. God is just. He didn't just, even in their case, he didn't just destroy them. He gave them warning. He gave them ample warning. He made Abram intercede for the cities. Abram would not if God didn't. He allowed for Abram to go down to 10. Right? He sent his angels to the city to show them, so that they can go and they can see how evil. The people could understand. We can understand. God knew all of this. Right? There was no need for him to send angels there to check things out. But by doing it, we saw how evil these people were. How they literally would try and rape these two guys. Right? And even when they got blinded, and they would have ought to have understood that, this is like really something else is going on here. No, they still pushed forward to try to get to those two guys. To get to Lot. To get to them all. Their sin was, they were so wicked, so evil. So it clearly shows as well in the story that God had all the right, and he had to. Right? Abram said, if God is the judge of all the earth, then he ought to justly judge them. And God, through allowing for Abram to intercede, for sending them there, for showing us what the people wanted to do to these men, we see that God was just in his way of destroying ultimately the city, in judging the city. In the same way, God is just in his way of how he prepared the Israelites as a tool of judgment on the people living in the land of Canaan. Okay, so they could see it from the story as well. I'm not now speaking of what they're doing today to the people in Gaza, right? That's a different question. I'm not going to speak about that now. Right? So, God is just. His justice shone through in his judgment. God is just now in sending the Israelites to the land of Canaan to judge the people for their sins. These are the kinds of things we see. We see how God saved Lot. Why? Because he remembered Abram. So thanks to the faith, the righteousness of Abram, Lot was saved. Okay? So the importance as well of the nation, of those believing in the nation. Right? The importance of the church today in ultimately making sure that this whole place, there's not an earthquake and everywhere. This kind of destruction is not like totally everywhere. There's still buildings standing around us. There's still building here around us in the middle of nowhere. Although this thing here behind us destroyed. Right? That's thanks to the fact that there's still a true church. I know there's lots of churches calling themselves churches who are not churches at all. Right? There are more temples, like it's stated in Revelation. There are more temples of Satan. But there's still a true church. There's still a place where the word is being preached, where the gospel is being preached, where God is the center of the church. Right? Where God is above all, where everything is done for the glory of God. Thanks to that, thanks to those churches, this world is not destroyed. But those churches are few and far between these days, unluckily. I'm not speaking of denominations, I'm speaking of churches, because in denominations you get Reformed denominations, which is like totally liberal, right? And you get more Pentecostal denominations, which is totally conservative and preaching the gospel. Right? So it's not about, it's about churches, different churches within. That's a problem. Okay? So these are some of the kinds of things we learn about God, about that God is a righteous judge. We learn that there are consequences to sin, and sin needs to be judged. Like Jesus will come back to judge everybody here, ultimately. That we all deserve hell. None of them. Lot did not deserve to be saved from Sodom. His daughters, sure not. Look at what they did just a couple of days after this. Getting father drunk and sleeping with him. Were they righteous? Did they deserve to be saved? No. Do we deserve to be saved? Did we deserve Christ to die on the cross for us? Was he thinking about us above all on the cross? Really? You want to say, Michael W. Smith, that he was thinking about all of us there on the cross? As if we deserved him to die for us? You want to say that? You want to sing and Christians, let Christians all over the world sing this kind of nonsense? He was thinking of his Father. We were his enemies. We are his enemies. And he died for us. Not because we are good, but because of who he is. To the glory of God, the Father. He was thinking about God above all on the cross. Not about us, these evil people, sinners standing around him. So change the words in your song, please. And start singing the truth and not lies. But that's what the church believes. We are the reason. We are the reason that he suffered and died. We are the reason because of our sin, yeah. But not so that we can be in heaven. Because we don't want to go to heaven. We were his enemies. His enemies were standing there around the cross. They were making fun of him. We all were making fun. We were all slaves to sin. But he saves us. Why? Because of the Son. Because of Jesus. He remembers Jesus, what Jesus did. A sinless life, living to the glory of the Father. He remembers that, and therefore he saves us. You need to get your faith in the right order, not the wrong order. You are not the God. You are not good. It's Christ. He's not thinking of you and saving you. He's thinking of Christ. And then he gives you the Spirit to save you because of Christ. There's the focus. God is the focus. The centrality of God is what it's about. It's not you. Ultimately, Abram was saved because of the righteousness of Christ. We've seen Abram sinned. Abram could not ultimately save Lot. It's Christ who saved Lot. It's Christ who saved Abram. It's Christ who saves you. It's the Father giving you the Spirit. When you are His enemy, when you're dead in sin, which saves you, will make you alive. He is the reason. He is the reason you're alive. So please, the song, the words, they might sound so good, but they're dead. Bring Christ, bring the Father into the picture. On the cross, He was thinking of the Father above all. Not about you. You are ultimately a sinner, dead in sin. He was thinking of the Father. If He thought of you and all your sins, would He have done it? No, He was thinking to the glory of the Father, so that in this way, the Father will be glorified. You didn't deserve it. He saved you. Therefore, you ought to glorify the Father, the Son, the Spirit. So please, people, I beg of you, stop glorifying yourself. Stop seeing yourself. Our salvation is a result of His life, His death, and His resurrection. It's not the reason for it. It's a result of it. The reason is the glory of the Father. The result is our new birth. It's our salvation.